trainers, Professor Palm here, and welcome to the end of Dragon Dynasty. I hope that you all enjoyed the ride, because I had a fantastic time talking and teaching all of you about Dragon-type Pokemon. I'm sorry that things didn't go according to plan, but I guess you could say, just like Pokemon themselves, I too am evolving.
Hey, Professor Palm. I heard you were talking about a certain Pokemon typing.
Ah, Professor Sassafras! It's wonderful to see you! We were just talking about your favorite typing of all of them, the Dragon typing. I've missed you, but it's great to see you, my friend. How have you been?
I'm doing pretty good. I've just finished up some recent studies. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing pretty good myself. I just finished moving entirely to the Unova region. I'm glad to be here. Now, I'm going to be assisting Professor Juniper with her studies. She was also my teacher when I finally got my degree to become a Pokemon professor. But I also just want to let you know that you made it in time for the last video of Dragon Dynasty.
Hey, that's awesome. Be sure to give her a hello from me. And what? I've missed most of the Dragon Dynasty? Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry I started without you, Professor Sassafras. But hey, better late than never, right?
That's right, and yeah, might as well be here to send it off with a bang.
Oh, you have an idea how we can end this? Well, go right ahead. I'm all ears.
Why not cover a special trainer with dragons? Say a champion, perhaps?
Oh, so you want to do your series? We are the champions and cover a Dragon-type champion. Well, I'm down, Professor, but we already covered Lance.
Of course we talked about the OG Lance, but I was talking about a more passionate dragon trainer. The Unovan champion herself, Iris.
Oh, Iris. Yeah, the girl who knows the hearts of dragons. She's amazing, and she's also one of my favorite champions of all time. It's just kind of crazy to think that originally she was a gym leader, and now look where she got to. I am sad that Alder stepped down as being the champion 2 years later, but he left the role of champion to the greatest trainer in all of Unova.
So true. I couldn't think of anyone else becoming champion other than her after Alder. She's a memorable character. One I generally will forever remember from my childhood.
Well, I'll admit, Iris was my very first anime crush as a kid, and in all honesty, I'm glad she was. Well, yeah, she could have her annoying moments calling everyone a kid. I am happy that she had a lot of growth throughout the series. I'll also say that she had some really good focused episodes, and we got to learn so much about her. I'm also really happy that we got to see her again in the Journey series, also as champion. That really shows how much growth she's had.
I love the episodes that revolved around her. Definitely showed off just how amazing she is and can be, which makes her the perfect candidate to end the Dragon Dynasty with.
You're absolutely right, Professor Sassafras. This would be the perfect way to end Dragon Dynasty. We could talk about so many other Dragon-type Pokemon, but no. I think that we should talk about one of the strongest Dragon-type trainers out there, Champion Iris, who I like to dub the Dragon Princess.
A dragon princess who's not afraid to put up a fight.
I am so excited and glad that we're doing this again, Professor Sassafras. You know what is kind of funny? The last time we did this, we talked about one of your champion crushes, being Steven Stone. And now, we're talking about my champion crush. Iris is the best.
Ha! That's right. It's pretty funny. Anyways, let's, hey, Professor Palm, focus up here. We can't be awestruck now. We just started.
Right. Sorry. Whew. Well, I will just say that I do hope to see Iris in action one day, as she is an amazing trainer. And I've learned so much about Dragon-type Pokemon after doing Dragon Dynasty. And seeing how strong and powerful Dragon-type Pokemon are, there's no question how Iris got to the top with her intense training skills as well as those powerful dragons she raises.
Of course they are, and under guidance of a strong and passionate trainer, they only get better.
I'm ready to learn everything about the Princess of Unova. So let's do this, Professor Sassafras. Let's see just how tough Iris is for being presumably one of the youngest champions we've ever had. But before we do that, I want to give a very special thanks and shout out to artist HTTPKOOPA for making Leon's jersey. Since Professor Sassafras and I are talking about champions, I couldn't think of a better shirt to wear than this one. If you like the jerseys that I wear in my videos, you can buy them on Etsy. I have a link to HTTPKOOPA's Etsy shop in the description below, so please check out this talented artist. Maybe buy something from his Etsy shop. And remember to say, Professor Palm sent you. I may not be sponsored, but I still want to say thank you for all you've done. Well, Professor Sassafras, let's get our champion teams ready, because this is going to be one tough battle. So, why don't you tell us everything we need to know about Iris, from where she started and how she became the strongest trainer in all of Unova.
Alright, let's get started. Iris made her first debut in the Pokemon mainline games in Pokemon Black and White, which, depending on the game you choose, she could have been the gym leader of Opelucid City, which was Pokemon White. However, her first debut as champion of the Unova region was in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. She's portrayed as outgoing and extremely passionate. Iris is brave, helpful, kind, and rather hyper with, of course, a fondness for Dragon-type Pokemon. Strangely enough, you don't see much of Iris in the sequels. You first see her in these games in Castelia City, where she helps look for Team Plasma grunts within the sewers. The next time you meet up with her is in Opelucid City, where she offers some advice to go train on a nearby route before taking on the gym leader Drayden, and it's also revealed around this time too that she is the champion of Unova. Shocking, I know. Further context of how she became champion can be revealed through performing a memory link to see a flashback of Iris talking to Drayden, which further explores her relationship with him as he reminisces the first time he met Iris and how she's grown up to be such a strong trainer. Through this conversation, they eventually discuss Iris's experience battling Alder, in which she had won. In the end of this, Drayden even gives her a new outfit, which is her champion outfit you see her wear throughout the game. Then, the last time you encounter Iris is the moment that both of you face off after defeating the Elite Four. Now let's take a look at Iris in the anime, which, lucky us, has a lot more to talk about, but to keep it short, I'll cover some of just the major things. Iris made her first appearance in the Pokemon Black and White anime, which was the episode In the Shadow of Zekrom. Unlike the other champions we've covered, she is actually one of the main characters in this anime. She takes on the role as the female companion, which helps and accompanies Ash through his journey. They first met when Ash threw a Pokeball at her head when mistaking her hair for a Pokemon, since his Pokedex identified the Pokemon in her hair. The Pokemon is her partner Pokemon, Axew. Once joining Ash, she gave us a lot of opportunity to learn about her and to see her grow throughout the series too. Her early life is shown in the episode of Village Homecoming, which shows the group visiting where she grew up, which is the Village of Dragons, and was given the opportunity to battle Drayden. On a small note, this was also mentioned in the mainline games, but I put it here as there was much more detail in the anime about her younger years. She also has a childhood friend named Shannon. Shannon was first seen also in the episode of Village Homecoming. Iris has even met her own rival within the anime as well. Her rival's name is Georgia, who was first introduced in the episode Iris and Excadrill against the Dragon Buster. The rivalry between the two isn't just a plain disliking of each other, they actually have some respect for one another as well. Throughout the friends' travels, Iris kept persistently trying to avoid Opelucid City, which was eventually revealed within the episode Drayden vs. Iris, Past, Present, and Future, that she was supposed to be Drayden's successor to being the gym leader there. Towards the end of the Black and White anime, the three friends go to Kanto in the episode Best Wishes Until We Meet Again, in which she then decides to travel to Johto to go battle the dragon gym leader there, which is Claire, and then gives Ash a goodbye as she and Silent board the train to head there. That wasn't the last appearance she had in the Black and White anime series, however. Her last appearance was one of those special episodes, which was, and this is a translation of the episode's name as it was not dubbed in English, Iris vs. Ibuki, The Road to Becoming a Dragon Master. and she can be seen battling Claire's shiny Druddigan in Blackthorn City and demonstrates her ability to read Dragon Pokemon's minds. Yeah, she can do that. After the battle, she encounters a Gibble going on a rampage in which she saves from falling off a clock tower. After finding out why the Gibble was on a rampage, which has to do something with a specific legendary, and once gaining its trust, she then caught the Gibble. Afterwards, she began to follow a Rayquaza, which was seen flying through the air. She also appears in the Pokemon Journeys anime, which, in the episode Thrash of the Titans, she had sent a formal letter to Ash in regards to having a World Coronation Series battle. Ash and Go traveled to Upalissa City, where Go mistakes Iris, who was napping in a tree once again, for a Pokemon due to her hair, and throws a Pokemon at her head. Later in the series, during the Champions Tournament, she was the third eliminated from being defeated by the Sinnoh champion in the episode Fiery Road to Mastership. Her final appearance was in the episode The Same Moon, Now and Forever, where she can be seen within a flashback. Alright, now on to some tidbits and fun facts of Iris. Iris got her name from a type of flower, and is the first main character to keep her Japanese name in the English dub of the anime. Out of Ash's friends, she has had the most disobedient Pokemon, with a total of 3. Same with being the first to have the gender of her Pokemon all known. Iris is also the only one of Ash's companions to have become a regional champion. She was also the only one in the Masters 8 lineup that is not known to have used Z moves, Mega Evolutions, or Dynamaxing. Iris also has a fear of Ice-type Pokemon, and despite her in-game Pokemon not all being Dragon-type, all her Pokemon can learn Dragon-type moves. Now I think it's time to move on to Iris's champion battle. Time to challenge the Dragon Princess for the crown and the throne of Unova. Tell us about this fierce battle and how to prepare for it, and what we need, Professor Palm.
In Iris's champion battle 2 years later at the Unova League for Black 2 and White 2, Iris uses a team of 6 Pokemon. When you take her on in either easy mode or normal mode, this team consists of Hydreigon, her opening Pokemon, who has the ability Levitate, is at levels 53 or 57, is female, and has the move pool of Flamethrower, Charge Beam, Dragon Pulse, and Surf. Druddigan, who has the ability Sheer Force, holds the item the Life Orb, is at levels 53 or 57, is female, and has the move pool of Rock Slide, Flamethrower, Dragon Tail, and Focus Blast. Archeops, who has the ability Defeatist, is at levels 53 or 57, is the only male Pokemon on Iris's team, and has the move pool of Acrobatics, Rock Slide, Dragon Claw, and Endeavor. Aggron, who has the ability Rockhead, is at levels 53 or 57, is female, and has the move pool of Earthquake, Double Edge, Rock Slide, and Autotomize. Lapras, who has the ability Water Absorb, is at levels 53 or 57, is female, and has the move pool of Surf, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Sing. And at long last, we get to Iris's Ace Dragon, Haxorus, who has the ability Mold Breaker, holds the item the Focus Stash, is at levels 55 or 59, is female, and has the move pool of Earthquake, X-Scissor, Dual Chop, and Dragon Dance. So, all you need to know for the final battle in Unova is that Iris will always begin this fight sending out Hydreigon as her opening Pokemon, and more often than not, will end with Haxorus. This makes her rather unique, as most champions who use a pseudo-legendary Pokemon on their team save it for last, as that's their ace. Iris is rather different for having a pseudo-legendary Pokemon be the first Pokemon she sends out and not be the ace. While looking at her team, half of Iris's Pokemon she uses in this fight are Dragon and half are not. I find it impressive that the other half of Iris's team are all prehistoric Pokemon, as Lapras, Archeops, and Aggron are all Pokemon from the past. She's really taken some good notes from Steven Stone, and even Lance, as he himself also used a flying fossil on his team with Aerodactyl. Also, upon closer examination of Iris's champion team, it appears that her Druddigan and Haxorus from her team as a gym leader stayed on as members of her brand new champion team. I gotta say, I really find that so touching, and this also tells you a lot about what kind of trainer she is. Rather than start from scratch, Iris added more, as she couldn't dare part with her old team members, and after everything they did to get her to the top as being champion. While most champions go for offense just to show how strong they are, some go for defense just to show how tough they are. Iris, on the other hand, takes a mix of both a strong offense and a tough defense. This team, for her champion battle, really shows the growth she's had in 2 years. When we first met her, she only knew the hearts of dragons, but now she knows the hearts of all Pokemon in any place and any time. With that great mix of dragon and prehistoric Pokemon, Iris has become a great champion, all because of the notes she took from some of the very best. She figured out how to make a great team, and now she can sit on her throne not only as champion, but as the Princess of Unova. So, when you go to face Iris at the Unova Pokemon League, you can't just go in guns blazing thinking that you're going to do this in one shot. Mind you, you're about to face the Master of Dragons, who is also the strongest trainer in the entire region. You gotta go in with a game plan. Well, here's some strategies. Since Iris uses many Dragon-type Pokemon and a lot of prehistoric Pokemon that are Rock-type, the best Pokemon and types of moves that you should bring to this fight would be Ice-type moves and Ice-type Pokemon, Fighting-type moves and Fighting-type Pokemon, Dragon-type moves and Dragon-type Pokemon, Water-type moves and Water-type Pokemon, Electric-type moves and Electric-type Pokemon, and Steel-type moves as well as Steel-type Pokemon. Ice-type moves are the best moves that I would recommend for this battle, especially against Dragon-type Pokemon. As you know, Dragon-type Pokemon don't dig the cold. So, in this battle, it's best to cool things down, especially against Iris's dragons. However, since Iris's Archeops also does not like the cold, this gives you a huge advantage, as that's already 4 Pokemon of hers that can't stand the Ice type. That's more than half the battle won. So, go for Ice-type moves, and Iris better bundle up, because a cold front will be moving in. Fighting-type moves would also be a great way to go for the battle. Half of Iris's team can't stand these punches and kicks, as Dark-type, Rock-type, Ice-type, and even Steel-type Pokemon break easily when they get into a physical fight. Get yourself some strong Fighting-type Pokemon and some strong Fighting-type moves, and not only will you gain an edge in the fight, you'll be able to punch Iris's lights out. Dragon-type moves would also be just as great, just like the Fighting-type, as half of Iris's team is Dragon-type. So, just like with Fighting-type moves, you already have half the battle won. Also, a Dragon duel is always awesome to watch, especially for a final battle. But I should warn you to be careful, as Dragon-type moves are a double-edged sword. As strong as they are against an opponent's dragon, they're also super effective on your dragon. Then again, as a good dragon trainer, you may know how to keep going, and if you go first, you can just show how powerful you are as a dragon trainer, and even be the top dragon. I'd say Water-type and Electric-type would also be great to have on your team, but I should warn you that not all of Iris's Pokemon are weak to both of Water and Electric-type moves. But this could give you a little bit of an advantage, as Lightning and Water can really slow down Iris's team. Also, with how fast Iris can go, you'll need any advantage you have just to slow her down. Steel-type moves and Steel-type Pokemon would be a good way to go. Other than having some Pokemon that have weakness to moves that are Steel-type, Steel is the only typing that resists Dragon-type moves, and they can also act as a Dragon Shield. So if you need to heal up or you need to regroup, you have a tough defender to take one for the team, just ensuring you a solid victory. I would highly recommend Fairy-type moves and Pokemon, but unfortunately, I can't. This is because the Fairy typing did not exist in the time of Black 2 and White 2, as Professor Sycamore had not discovered it. However, if we happen to get remakes of the Unova region, and we happen to take on Iris, I would highly advise you to use Fairy-type. Not just because Fairy-type moves are super effective against Dragon-type Pokemon, but Fairy-type are completely immune to Dragon-type moves. So, seeing this fairy just might make Iris have to come up with an entirely new strategy. So, let's review, trainers. When taking on Iris, who uses a team of both dragons and dinos, be sure to have Pokemon in the fight that are and have the moves which are Ice type, Fighting type, and Dragon type. And for this fight, if you use all of these moves and these Pokemon, you'll be good as gold. Another weakness of Iris is that her Pokemon are strong in attack and tough for defense. However, other than Aggron with Atomize and Haxorus with Dragon Dance, none of their team has any moves that helps for the stats. Instead, Iris relies more on the stats and the stat defense rather than raising them, so she doesn't have a single move that's a stat booster for defense. When it comes to items that you need to bring for this final fight, I cannot stress it enough that you need the Quick Claw. This item can ensure you the first move, and you'll really need to move first with all that firepower Iris is packing. You'll also want to stock up on items, but the ones that you really need to get the most are Paralyze Heals, Burn Heals, and Awakenings. But if that's too much for you to get, then you might as well just get yourselves full heals, find yourselves some Lumberries, and of course, full restores. Also, make sure you get lots of Hyper Potions and Max Potions because of these heavy hits Iris has coming. And of course, get yourself many revives. Also, if you happen to have any max revives, save it for this final battle. You'll want to be ready to go. So, make sure that you have all these items, all these moves, and Pokemon, and after this fight, you'll not only walk out victorious, but you'll also walk out as either the Prince or Princess of Unova. I admire Iris so much. After all, she was my very first anime crush, and she was a very strong trainer. But I'm also impressed with her champion team. Iris put together a very powerful team of both offense and defense. When it came to the strategies, she definitely took great notes from both Lance and Steven Stone.
Yeah, she's definitely one to not underestimate. She truly shows just how powerful she is through her passion and bond with her Pokemon team.
I really like that Iris's team shows both sides of Unova and how far she's come from Opelucid City. She has Dragon-type Pokemon and Prehistoric Pokemon. This shows the two different paths, the present and the past, which are very similar to Reshiram and Zekrum's paths of truths and ideals.
Yeah, you can definitely see how much she's grown into her position as champion. Not just in the anime, but also between Black and White and Black and White 2. She absolutely feels like a true dragon trainer in the end.
Well, in 2 years, Iris has come so far. With all that power, there's honestly no question how Iris ended up as top dragon. And just like with Lance, I really enjoy her throne room and her outfit. Just like how Lance looks like a king of the dragons, Iris as a champion has become a beautiful dragon princess.
Man, all these champions we covered so far all just scream power and pride. But I don't think any scream louder or can really beat the draconic, fiery passion Iris brings to the table.
Iris truly is incredible. I cannot believe that the first girl I ever had a crush on in anime not only became champion, but one of the very best ever. While we all know that Iris knows the hearts of dragons, who would have guessed that Iris herself has the heart of one?
Yeah, I could definitely say that she's one of the champions I'll always remember fondly.
This was a lot of fun, Professor Sassafras, but I think that we're at the end. But before we do end this, why don't we ask all the trainers out there a few questions?
Sure thing. Let's see what's on their minds.
Do you think that Iris had a good team consisting of Hydreigon, Druddigon, Archeops, Aggron, Lapras, and Haxorus? Or do you think that she should have omitted the 3 others and had an entire Dragon-type team?
Who do you think was the better Dragon-type champion? Was it Lance, the OG Dragon Tamer? Or is it Iris, who did it better with more than one Dragon-type?
Do you think that Iris was a great champion of Unova? Or do you think the title of champion should and always belong to Alder? Also, between Iris and Alder, who gave you the harder fight as champion?
We sure learned a lot of things about Iris. What was something new that you didn't know about her already?
Did you happen to like Iris when she was in the anime? Did you like her as a traveling companion? Or did you just find her really annoying? Also, what did you think of that amazing battle she had against Cynthia?
And if you were champion, what would you use for your team? Would you go for all offense, or would you go on defense? Or would you go for a mix of both?
Thank you so much, Professor Sassafras. I had a wonderful time learning and also talking all about my favorite champion. Iris really is one of the best. Well, I hope to see you again sometime soon. I really want to do another collaboration with you.
No problem, Bomb. See you and all the trainers out there next time.
Catch you later, champ. Well, future champions, if you liked what you saw, then please leave a like. If you have any questions, you want an idea turned into a video, you want Professor Sassafras and I to talk about another champion, you want Professor Sassafras and I to maybe collaborate and talk on another Pokemon, or you want me to talk about something that's going on in the current events of Pokemon or about the upcoming games, then please comment. And as always, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, smash that subscribe button. Also, please share my videos to as many trainers as you can. As a Pokemon professor, it's my job to teach trainers like all of you. I wish all of you the very best in your fights to become champions. So, thanks for watching, champs. Palm out.